Hey guys and girls, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We got an Epiphone on the bench today. A pretty neat one. We've been working on a lot of basses lately, and I'm a bass guitar player, but man, give me some guitars every once in a while. Let's get to work. So yeah, everybody recognizes that as a Zakk Wylde Les Paul Custom. And pretty neat. It's got, well, faux gold hardware. Obviously, it's not gold. It's an Epiphone. But let me tell you, this thing is a honking guitar. Look at how thick it is. Yeah. This cat knows how to play guitar. He's a rock and roller. He's got EMGs in it, and I got to do a little research. I probably should have done that before I got on. Whether it comes with EMGs or not, I don't know. It's not active. They're passive EMGs. Pretty neat headstock on the back, which is, nobody ever sees that, but pretty neat guitar. Good customer of mine, good friend of mine. It's got some issues. Hasn't been worked on for a long time. The board is drier than a popcorn fart and faded. It needs a little love. I noticed this right away. The inlay up here looks kind of funky. I won't know what's going on until I get these old nasty strings off. The frets need to be polished and cleaned. Loose three-way switch, selector switch. And no, actually that's tight. That's a miracle of all miracles. The output jack is tight. Very horrible action. Without even measuring, which we're going to do right now, I can tell you that the action is not good on it. Somebody made a comment the other day. I do this with the paper, and they said, no, use a rolling paper. A regular paper, I don't know, maybe they were implying that a regular piece of paper is too thick. He's got too much. Not enough, and it's somebody has done wrap, or that's why somebody has wrapped the stop bar, wrapped the strings around the stop bar, so they actually wrapped the strings around the stop bar. Now I don't recommend that unless it's your only option, and some of the old Gibsons were like that. They had no real adjustment. That was the stop bar, was the saddle and stop bar. There wasn't any of this. But that is unnecessary. We're going to do it the right way. Because of that, it looks like the saddle height is too high and the stop bar is just it's already too low, and we don't have enough break angle. Now that break angle right there is crucially important in tuning stability. So we're going to address that. I don't agree with that. I don't think it needs to be that way. We're going to run them through like they're supposed to and come up and then adjust the stop bar up where it belongs. Now, it's possible that somebody did that. A guy that worked on it before me did that because the stop bar was too high and they couldn't get the right break angle, and it was too acute. Now it's too shallow. So we'll see. We will see. And before we do anything, you know what we do. I do want to. He said the electronics all work right. I have to because I have to. Uh-oh. Something ain't working. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we got a bad output jack. We have a bad output jack. That's why I check that stuff. All right, let's address that first and foremost. before I pull that out of there, I want to see if I have one standby. And I do have one, but it's my last one, so yeah, it doesn't have a nut or a washer on it. And I must have used it as a test output jack at some point, but it's got to be better than what's going on in there. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to open that up right now. I was going to go and do the setup first, but I don't know. You ignore something like that, it's not going to be fun. Oh, and the three-way switch didn't have a knob, so I went into my parts bin and pulled out a knob for him. Yeah, this old girl needs some love. Got a few things not working right. First thing we tried, the output jack. Maybe we'll see what's going on. My guess is somebody tried to tighten it up, and I don't see anything initially wrong with it. Why would that be making noise like that? Because it doesn't look bad. That doesn't mean anything, though. Oh, I see what's wrong with it. I see what's wrong with it. Yeah, sometimes all it is the quarter-inch jack goes in and pushes on that, and that's just spring tension. Now, there's two parts of the spring and one thing. The tip needs to be pulled out slightly. I'm going to tell you that the tip needs to be just rotated out slightly. And we need to push in just to give it a little more connectivity. And that should be that. Okay, let's try that and see what happens. I'm pretty confident that that's it. I'm going to go ahead and put the screws back in. Sometimes you get lucky. I don't want to speak too soon. Worst case scenario, we'll have to solder in a new output jack. Big deal. Big deal. You know how these things go. One thing leads to another. I thought this was going to be a quick and easy 20-minute video. We're just going to do a restring, a clean up, and set up. And right away, something rearing its ugly head. Let's see. Anybody want to make a wager? Uh-oh. Oh no, there it is. I had the volume down. Tone works. Bridge pickup. Ooh, very hot. Tone works. Middle position. Should be both. Perfect. Shut the volume down. Either volume in the middle position will shut them off if you turn it all the way down. So, yeah, no more crackly, everything's working. Way too close. Strings are actually banging off of this pickup right here. Yeah. That's all part of the setup. I'm not worried about it. We'll recheck that, of course, during the course of, what's happening here. But I'm pretty confident that's that. Before I forget, I'm going to use that too. Before I forget, I want to tighten this down. you know, because just as sure as God made little green apples, I will forget. And yeah, you have to open the back and hold it while you turn the nut. Ooh, way down in there. The way I like to do this is hold on to it. And where is my little wrench? Where did you go? Just a run-of-the-mill spanner wrench. It seems to be clocked pretty good. I'm going to turn it slightly and then we'll tighten it down. It doesn't have a chiclet underneath it that says rhythm and lead. And if you don't know which pickup you're working with when you're playing, go home and try again. Keeping this out here, I use it all the damn time. I'm tired of digging around for it. I like that, and I like it to be more in this direction, not this direction. So it's kind of like going like that. Because as you're strumming, it's kind of like that. You know, if you're going like that, you're strumming over here, click, click, right? And I guess now would be a good time to gift him the knob. It didn't have a knob on it. I just happen to have one that actually fits on there and snugs up. I like that. Beautiful. Onward and upward. Haven't even taken a measurement and I've already fixed two things. Where is our neck relief? Pretty tight. Man, when your feeler gauge sticks in there like that and doesn't move, your neck is way too straight. I didn't sight it, but wow, that's really tight. And that has to be addressed first. It is so straight. Yeah, it is so straight, it almost looks like it's in a back bow, but not quite. Now, let's see if there's a 5/16 or 4 mil. It's an Epiphone. It's not a Gibson, but it's a really nice Epiphone. It's a really nice Epiphone. Jeez. Metal. Yeah. Everything's metal on it. Limited edition. Doesn't say where it's manufactured or assembled. Doesn't matter to me. I can tell it's a nice. But 4mm, so that kind of tells the story where it came from. I'm assuming a 4mm, and it is. Ooh, crunchy grind. I gave it about a half a turn. Let's bring it up to tension and make sure we're not getting ahead of ourselves. We got enough string tension to put the relief where, to put the tension on the neck. It's a little flat. Not tuning it exactly. I'm just getting it close so that I know I got the right tension on the neck. Let's check that relief after that adjustment. Pretty thick honking neck too. Much better. It liked that. It is just kissing 12 thousandths. I might have gone a little too far. I'm going to back it off slightly. Well, actually, I'm going to go back to tightening to the right just slightly, just to put a little pressure on it. And we're going to complete the setup and everything we're going to do to it at that setting, because I know where my neck relief is now. It's not too flat. We don't have any buzzing strings, which is encouraging. Okay. Just for giggles, let's see where the string height is. Got to start and know where you're starting before you move too fast, too quickly. Yeah, just adding that relief in it gave us some string height. The treble side is good. The bass side's too high, but we'll address that as we proceed. So we're going to de-string. We're going to clean up the frets and oil the board. I don't think I'm going to pull the tuners off to clean the headstock. I'm just going to clean it the way it is. Clean up the entire body. Give it a good, once over. This is the next order of business right here, the neck and the fretboard. So stand by while I de-string. I'm going to try to get this all in one video, so I do need to save a little bit of video time. Many of you seen that process, you know where it is. I'm going to get started on it and show you just the tail end of it. We're going to de-string, we're going to polish the frets, and we're going to first sand the frets slightly. And when I say sand, boy, everybody loves that term. I use a little piece of, it's kind of emery board. It's softer than what you would use on your fingernails, to buff your fingernails. And all that does is take the crap off of it. Then you use polish, actual polish on the frets. And that brings them up to a nice shine, cleans them, then we oil the board. So stand by. So just so you see, and there's been quite a few of these lately. That's why I'm not showing too much of it in this video. I've done a lot of this, and this is pretty much common practice on almost every setup that I do. I clean the frets and I oil the board, unless it's a new instrument. Fret tool, ultra fine emery cloth or sand pad, and you just kind of go at it. Now, be ultra careful with your ultra fine pad that it is smaller than this, your scrub surface, because if you jump off and get across that board, guess what? Yeah, there's going to be a nice sand mark there on your fretboard, and you don't want that. You don't have to push hard. Let the emery do its own work, and you'd be surprised how much it takes off right away. I mean, it just pulls off all the crap instantly. And you can even see down here where it has lined up. This is all the stuff that just came off of the frets. So I like to show as much as I can, but I'm trying to save some video time. Get all the crap off of it, and then you move on to the same thing, but with polish, right? I'm only going to show you 1 or 2 or 3 or 7. Right. Put a little bit of the fret polish on, just a run-of-the-mill paper towel. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be anything special. And you start, and first you just dollop it on. Right? Yeah, messy as hell. I usually go down to the 7th fret, 7th or 8th fret, and then go to it. And that's what you're trying to get off. Tarnish. Get a clean piece of cloth every time you move to a new fret. There you go. And you go to it. Yep. And when you get done with that, you're going to have a whole bunch of that on your paper towel. So stand by while I finish that part of it, okay? So yeah, we finished polishing the frets. This is what you're going to get when you're done if you do it right. And then we oiled it, and you let the oil sit on there. And that's kind of a critical moment. It doesn't need to sit on there for more than 3 or 4 minutes, but it really does matter. It's important. And as you can see, it brings the board right back to life, and that's linseed oil. I'm going to take it off, and you can see some of the tarnish is still coming off, right? Then start at the opposite end and really work it. You want to get all the excess off. The wood has soaked up what it needs. And you need to do this once a year. I don't care what your mother says. You follow? Yeah, see, we're still getting some tarnish. But I'm going to show you the last step. And if we do this correctly, now you're taking care to roll on each side of the fret and make sure you're hitting every piece of the fretboard, every piece of the surface of the fretboard. And once you get all that completed, yeah, we still got some tarnish coming off. Now, the last step is now we're just going to, and paper towel, you don't need anything more abrasive than that. You don't need any kind of special space age chamois. Just the tops of the frets. And you shouldn't have anything left, or very little. And that will buff them up to a nice shine. Are they going to stay that way? No. But that's how you finish them. Metal has a way of doing whatever the hell it wants. But you can see, you should have very little now. You do each fret individually, and you can see while you're right up close to it that they're buffing up to a nice sheen, and they're smooth. All of that gook that we took off of there, the tarnish, the DNA, that is not conducive to a pleasurable playing experience or for the instrument to perform the way it's supposed to. Once a year, my friends. Once a year, you got to do that. Okay. So, where are we? We tightened that. We fixed the output jack. These are going to get adjusted. We cleaned the frets, polished them, oiled the board. We're going to now make sure that everything is tight, and we're going to go to cleaning the guitar. And I'm not going to show you that. It's too much video time. Make sure all of your hardware is tight. And you don't need to torque it. That one was a little loose. I noticed a couple of bushings here are a little wonky. These are Grover tuners, so it's got good gear on it, but bushings, tuning peg bushings, they wear out. I had to replace one, and then I ran out. I got one other that's not quite cutting it, but I fixed it well enough that it's passable. Okay? All part of a setup, all part of what I do, and, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm going to go to cleaning the guitar. When I come back, everything will be cleaned and ready for restring and set up. Stand by. So, here we are at the restringing juncture. Now remember, when we first got this guitar, the stop bar goes in there thusly. The strings were pushed in this way and over-wrapped on the stop bar. I don't agree with that. I'm not going to do it that way. And very likely we're going to have to, it's pretty neat. It looks as though the spring retainer for the, oh no, it's still on there. Never mind. There's a little wire spring that holds all the saddles onto the bridge. I thought it was missing because they always pop off on Eppies. I'm going to string it this way, and we're going to do the setup the correct way, not the way it was before. I don't know who did that, and I don't know why they did it, and it doesn't matter. This is how we're going to do it. This is the right way. Very short Grovers here, so you got to be careful how much extra you use. You want your wraps, one over the hole, one under the hole. But they're very short peg heads, so it only gives you enough to go one above the hole and 1.5 underneath. So just shy, measure just shy to the next peg head and bend it so you know what spacing to use. Get it on there. Oh, by the way, these are Ernie Ball 10s. Unless you bring me and have a string preference, I'm going to always put what was on there, but Ernie Balls. I measured they're 10s that they're coming off, so I stock Ernie Balls. I'm not going to stock different strings. Now, if you bring your own strings, no problem. I'll put whatever you want on your guitar. I'm going to pause while I restring just to save time again, and we'll get on to the setup because we're running long. So everything's strung up, and I opened up the back to see if anything had been boogered around with as far as, what's in the control cavity. And did a little research there. Apparently it comes with these EMGHCs. That's cool. I didn't know, but I checked. So because of the overwrap situation, and now I've strung it the correct way, I don't know, I guess I should have checked to see if maybe Zakk likes it to be overwrapped and that's the way they're shipped. I don't think so. No. Our string, our neck relief is exactly where I liked it, where I put it. So we're good to put that back. String height is the next thing. I can tell you, since we did this the right way, we've got really nice, break angle there. None of them are touching the bridge, and that's the way it should be, at least in my book. You guys can argue that until the cows come home. And wow, so after having it all apart and cleaning it and redoing the stop bar the way it's supposed to be and setting the neck relief where it's supposed to be, which is 12 thousandths at the 7th fret, guess what? We're at just kissing 5 thousandths of an inch on the bass side, low E, and right at 4/64ths on the treble side, the high E. That's where it's supposed to be. So even after cleaning, and I didn't show all that cleaning the body, but these things get turned, and I just kind of eyeball them before I put the saddle back in and everything. And I won a lot. I should go play the lottery. I should buy a lottery ticket. I got that one absolutely perfect. Dead on. Little flat, slightly flat. and we're knocking off of that. That's good. Slightly sharp. That on. So I have some intonation adjustments, little screws here. I'm not going to bore you with that, but the one last thing I'm going to do, this is critical, and it is the most overlooked adjustment. Wow, the pickups are so close, so high, that they're literally banging off the strings, or the strings are banging off the pickups. Both bass side, and same with the treble. They're so close that it's choking the sound on this guitar. They need to go down like a lot. I'm just going to guess it. A lot. A lot is a lot. Pickups being closer to your strings doesn't mean a more powerful instrument. It doesn't make your guitar be louder or more aggressive. You get that through your amp and your pedals. I can live with that. I can live with that. I'm just guessing at it. This one can come up slightly on the bass side. Too far. No, I went too far on those. That up. That up. Yeah, still got to come up. I went way too far. There we go. That should do it. Yup. A little bit more there. Yeah, fine tuning. I can't believe I got the string height exactly right. Oh, that's too close still. Okay, down you go. It's funny. Wow, what a difference. Nope, we're good there. That one's a little close still. Oh no, don't move my pickups farther away. They'll be more powerful if they're closer. No, that's not how it works. Magnetic field. There's a sweet spot. If you're too far away, it'll never pick up. You'll never have any power. If you're too close, it'll choke it out and your strings will start touching. There's actually a mark on that pickup where the string was hitting. Your strings you're choking out your magnetic field. It won't pick up the vibration. So, I digress. Let's see if it plays. It's as stable as a three-legged table. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know. Let's see if it plays. I know Zakk would never play that, but hey, I'm wearing a Stone shirt, so. Oops. Not a guitar player. Love it. Yeah, really nice little guitar. very heavy instrument. Not as heavy as you would think for as thick as it is, but digging on it. So a sidebar, point of interest. Guitar was sitting on the bench overnight in the shop, and I don't know what my wifey was doing in the shop, probably poking around in my stuff. But she goes, this morning over coffee, she goes, that is such a cool psychedelic guitar you have in there. I go, that's not a psychedelic guitar. That's a Zakk Wylde Epiphone. It's Blackjack with 396 guitars. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for all your comments. If you have questions, if you want me to work on your guitar, reach out. I'm more than happy. We'll talk soon.